Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for making my son, 16M, volunteer at the zoo, after he made some rude comments? I'm divorced but I have primary custody of my 3 kids, 16, 12, and 8. Last week I took them all to the zoo, and it was mostly a good experience. The 2 younger kids especially liked it, but my oldest isn't very fond of animals. We passed a zookeeper working hard cleaning a giraffe exhibit, and to my surprise my 16-year-old son pointed and said to his brother, "That's why you do good in school, I guess, or you end up scooping poop for a job." He said it loud too. The keeper and nearby guests surely heard. I was very embarrassed. I quickly led them away and left the zoo soon after, and asked him where he learned to talk like that. I said, "That's not even true, don't many of them have master's degrees and higher?" But he said he thinks it's gross menial work for people who don't want to work with their intellect, and anyone could do it. Referencing enclosure cleaning, I assume. I was pretty appalled by how he's learned to look down on manual labor but particularly zookeeping, because as I understand, it's not even easy. Sure, it's manual labor, but I don't think I could do what those zookeepers do every day. I gagged from our cat's litter box alone. I thought the best way to teach him more respect and appreciation was to sign him up to volunteer at the zoo, so that's what I did. I found a zookeeper for a week program at a zoo not far from here and enrolled him. When I told him, he was very upset and said, "Why would you do that? That sounds awful." I told him I thought he'd said it was easy, so surely just 1 week wouldn't hurt, but he said, "Yeah, cleaning up messes is easy, in that anyone can do it, but that doesn't mean I want to." His father thinks this was too harsh when he found out. I'm guessing some of his sentiments may be influencing these attitudes, but I decided to stick with it. AITA? Not the a-hole. Making him do the work will make him realize how hard a lot of these jobs actually are, and the amount of effort people put into what they do. The jobs we might see as undesirable are the ones that keep a lot of systems running. To make that comment loudly in front of the zookeeper is just harsh. Edit, thank you kind stranger for the award. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to help my friend cheat on a drug test to get into med school? I, 21M, was asked about 30 minutes ago by my roommate/friend of several years, 24M, to give him my urine by tomorrow. He needs it for a drug test required by the PA, physician's assistant, school he was recently accepted to. Even though I have known him for a long time, I wouldn't say we are extremely close, but we have been living together along with my fiancée, 24F, for a couple years. He specifically needs it because he smoked weed. I don't particularly care about whether he smokes or not, but it just feels wrong to help him cheat on something like this. Especially because where we live he can get jail time if he's caught. I've never really asked any major favors of him like this, and in fact he more often asks for me and my fiancée for favors, often driving him around or taking him out to do things since he doesn't have any friends besides us. In my opinion, he should have just been able to keep some self-control. The only reason why I feel bad is because he's been studying for a while for this, and I'm not sure how long it'll take for him to get back and/apply again if he can't do the drug test. I'm heavily leaning towards saying no, if so AITA. Not the a-hole. First and foremost, it's your pee and you get to decide what to do with it. Also, I'm sure he knew about this ahead of time and he should have taken a weed break or looked up ways to pass a drug test. Am I the a-hole for asking for more money for my car? Asshole. So, I, 28M, offered to sell my RAV4 that has 100,000 miles on it in January to my brother and his wife. They have a baby and a beat-up Honda Civic as well as a Scion with way too many miles on it. They shared they'd be car hunting this year. I offered to sell it to them for what Carvana offered, which was $14,500, and they agreed to it right away. The problem was that my wife and I still hadn't picked out our replacement car. So, they'd check in every week or so, but we weren't ready. In the end, we decided to hold on to the car until our trip to Disney this past week. I checked Carvana again and they offered me more. This time $16,500. I texted my brother telling him he could have it but he would need to match Carvana's new offer. He responded saying that they're not haggling and they've been putting off buying a car for months because they thought we had an agreement and were just waiting on us. They called me an AH for stringing them along for 3 months and then asking for $2,000 more. I'm just trying to do what is right by my 2 kids and one on the way. AITA? YTA. If you had checked today and it was less than when you had made the agreement, you wouldn't have said SHIT. AITA for telling my sister I won't be answering to her every need anymore. I, 25F, have an older sister, 28, who has been relying on us for everything since she was a kid. She does not make or go to appointments with her doctors without me or my mom, even though she is diabetic, does not respect appointments at for example the bank, does not take her kids to school, does not go to work by herself etc. She has been heavily relying on me and my mother for most of her life, except for the 5 years I went to university and was in another city, in which period she relied on my mother only. When we were younger, this organically grew out of compassion and pity. I'll help her because she doesn't seem to get it done by herself and I don't want her to get in trouble in for example school. But this has become a convenience and now she expects me to cater her every need. Granted, my mother always raised her as the non-independent one where I was expected to be independent and helping everyone. Anyway, after college I returned home, which is normal in my country, and the same habits got reinstalled. It goes as far as me leaving work early to go pick up her daughter from school and bringing her home, me skipping my hobbies because she needed something etc. etc. I've had it with this system for a while, but I'm planning on moving in with my boyfriend who lives 180 kilometers away, and on discussing the subject my sister and mother asked how I was planning on taking care of my sister and het kids. I responded I was not going to be able to help out as frequently as I used to and it would be more on an emergency basis they could count on my help. Now both my mother and sister think I am being an egoist and prioritizing my own life above theirs. But I feel like I do have a right to my own life. So, AITA? NTA. You should be prioritizing your own life above your sister and mother's. It's your life. They aren't prioritizing your life over theirs, are they? No, they're not. Am I the a-hole for asking my bridesmaid to cover up or she's not invited? I'm from the southern US, getting married, so basically all of my sisters and cousins are my bridesmaids. Before asking one sister in particular to be a bridesmaid, I explained that although I love her dearly, my wedding isn't the place to show off her tattoo and to please have it covered. She went on to say would I be asking the other bridesmaids or even the groomsmen if they were going to cover up their tattoos. I said probably not because none of them had a naked woman, nipples and a coochie slit visible, about the size of their hand. She said well then she won't be a bridesmaid. I said that's fine and I understand but she won't be at the wedding period if she doesn't cover it up. If anyone has anything crude or explicit at the wedding they will be asked to leave. There will be children in attendance and people me and my fiancé work with. We are getting married in October. By no means will she be in the sweltering heat. The bridesmaids' dresses also ensure that it would be mostly covered to an extent but you would still see the bottom half of the very bared naked lady. She's not backing down and I've asked the wife, Paige, of a groomswoman to just please be on standby if she can and she can just escort her wife down the aisle. NTA it's a graphic tattoo and there will be kids at it, plus the attitude problem. Am I the a-hole for correcting my sister? Today I woke up to a message from my sister who, granted, I don't see much. She's busy. So, the message was a long, 5-line message wishing me a happy birthday and how she'd be coming to see me and all this stuff. This was on April 1st. My birthday is April 13th. Would I be the asshole if I were to correct her? It's the thought that counts, but it's such an awkward situation what to say. NTA if you correct her politely, as in, thanks for the early birthday wishes. Will you be coming for my birthday on the 13th, or do you want to plan something for this weekend? If you are rude about it, then the judgment would be different.